Nation. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to a live. I tried everything in my power to get to a live, so it's gonna have to be a recording. It just is what it is. I can't help it. I can't fix it. I gotta do what I gotta do. First thing I want to do is shout out all the people who showed up to watch the video. Please hit that like, subscribe, notification bell if you're checking it out. But this is my way of giving you some type of content pertaining to the game. Okay. For me, I have watched all 3 games that the Packers have played. I have noticed some tendencies. I didn't recognize it at first, but there's some tendencies, and we're going to get into it. First thing we want to do is look at what the Lions are getting ready to face when they go up against the Packers in Green Bay. Obviously, Jordan Love is the starting quarterback. It's like, okay, cool. And clearly, Aaron Jones wants to play this game, which is why he got the questionable Q next to him. So does Christian Watson, who got the questionable Q next to him. But in general, when you start to look at it, David Bakhtiari is out. Jenkins is out, right? Zach Tom is out. And when I see these type of things, the first thing that jumps out to me is this. You have to, Detroit. You must, under every circumstance, win the battle in the trenches. I don't care what you did against the Falcons. None of that matters anymore. That was the last game. We're on to this one. You have to whoop the backup left tackle and the backup guards behind. Stump them out. Do them dirty. Get after them. Make them work. Make them earn it. If you can do that, you're already winning half of the battle. One of my keys to the game is you must win the line of scrimmage, and you must win the battle of the trenches on both sides of the ball. Because when you go to the other side of the ball, yeah, Kenny Clark is going to be a problem. He's going to have some things to do. He was one of the reasons that they were able to come back against the Saints, because he blew the middle of the field up. So he's going to be a problem. They linebackers are big and bulky, but that brought me to my next key, which is very simple. You have to take advantage of the Packers' over-aggressive defense with the running backs and tight ends. Get everybody involved. I know many of us ain't going to like the dink and dunk game life, but this is the time to do it. I don't buy that these linebackers can run with our running backs or our tight ends. We have to expose that. And when you look at the game that they had against the Saints, that's exactly what the Saints did to get up on them quickly. They utilized the running backs and the tight ends to take advantage of this team. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, Luke, if a team already did that, why would you then tell them to do the same thing? That's the funny thing. I've watched this happen only in this game, and in other games, the quarterback or the team panicked and did not get the ball to the running back or a tight end to create that matchup against those linebackers. Now, they're going to have Jair Alexander as a questionable, right? Because at this point, you're trying to keep everything to the brass. None of that matters to me. I can care less. But here's what I can tell you. Even if he plays, because you're going to be attacking with the running back, because you're going to be attacking with the tight end, and you still have Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, this doesn't matter. Unless you're finna tell me that they're going to put Jair Alexander on Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, which I don't see happening if he does play. This has to be the game plan. Now, when you're doing this is going to cause them to want to, back up just a little bit. Because you're dinking and dunking them, right? You're basically taking what they're giving you up front. This is where it becomes more complex, because to do this, Jared Goff is going to have to get the ball out of his hands quickly in a lot of these cases, and he's going to have to be poised when he do it, which is another key of the game for me. He has to know how to keep his composure, because one of the things that I saw is they zone blitz a lot. I don't know what the percentages are, but just from watching the tapes, especially on like longer downs, 3rd and 9s, and if it's 3rd and long, or heck, I even saw on a few 2nd and longs where they were sending at least 5 to 6 or some form of a zone blitz. And it was working. It was confusing a lot of people. But because teams did their homework, like the Saints, before Carr went down, he was exposing it. He was staying poised and hitting his tight ends and running backs, and it was working for him. But these are the things that you got to take advantage of. This is your opportunity to really take advantage of a team and change the way that these things are being done. Now, there's 2 components to this game that I haven't heard anyone talk about, but that I happen to notice in watching the film of the Packers. The Lions need to come with the right cleats. I'm finna tell you right now. I'm not taking no excuses about, it was slippery out there. We couldn't get our footing. It was so bad we had to change our cleats. All you have to simply do is go back and look at most of the games that the Packers have played, particularly look at the last one. Even the Packers quarterback was sliding everywhere because of how the grass was. You need to come prepared. Wear the right cleats so you can be prepared for this game. We're not taking no excuses, all right? If we're winning the division, it starts here. It starts now. Now, the other part of it that I'm going to get into down the road is to show some of the things that I saw on tape just a little bit, so I can kind of get that out there. But overall, I want people to understand, we're not taking any excuses. I know I'm not. Get the right cleats on your feet, because what's going to need to happen is the Lions are going to need to score on those possessions when they are in scoring position, and they're going to need to do it often. They're going to need to do it consistently, okay? The Detroit Lions have won 2 games because of the defense and lost 1 because the defense couldn't hold up to their end. So it's going to start there. They're going to have to be the foundational piece for that. The offense, on the other hand, is going to have to step it up. I need Ben Johnson to be more aggressive. Go after these linebackers. Rashawn Gary ain't running with nobody, all right? He can try to chip every person that go past him. It won't work. It's irrelevant, right? Quay Walker's a decent linebacker. So is Devondre Campbell. But as you can see, Campbell was out. Preston Smith is in. So you're talking about them trying to create pressure with basically defensive ends and edge rushers. Expose that. Expose that with vengeance. Okay? With vengeance. I also want to go back up really quick because I want to point this out here too, is when you start to look at their receivers, right? And you know, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, but let's be honest. These receivers ain't impressive. And I expect for our DBs to bully them. I'm not concerning myself on if Mosley is playing or not, because at the end of the day, I don't have him as a factor in this game. I don't. Do I need Brian Branch to have the same game he had against the Falcons? Nope. But I need him to have that same energy. Do I need Jacobs to have a better game? He has to. You cannot lose to Romeo Doubs. You cannot lose to Jaden Reed. You can't. You have to win that matchup. You have to be able to compete and take that matchup. There's no getting around it. There just isn't. And for me, he's going to be the X factor. I don't have time to rotate safeties for help over there for you. You're going to have to buck up, young man. Okay? You're going to have to buck up. Cam Sutton, look, I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't really been tested as much, but hey, this might be the game where they test him. So, off rip, if we win in that line of scrimmage, we're winning that upfront battle, you can help them back end guys out. But if we're not winning that battle, then guess what? You better make sure that you're sound in your technique when you're covering these guys. So these are just a few of the things that really jump out to me, and I'm going to give you some examples of some things that need to be improved. I think this is a game the Lions are coming in with some advantages that, in my opinion, should stand up, but we're going to see what they're talking about when we get into looking at some of this film and breaking down some of the things that I think they showed their hand on that the Lions can take advantage of. Okay, so let's just look at some of the film. Let's get into it from what it is. I talked about this zone blitzing and stuff that they do, and how they mix it up. And I want you to kind of look at a few things here. In particular, I want you to kind of just look at, the splitting. Look at where they are in terms of their splits and stuff like that. But this is another key of the game right here, because this play right here, you're going to look at this running back. And reason for that is because this is now going to switch over to our running backs, a.k.a. Jahmyr Gibbs. If Monty is playing, if Bam is playing, I don't care who it is, they're going to have to get ready for this. Send this blitz. And when they send this blitz, the first thing that they do is get home with it. But it's going to be disrupted because that running back does his job. And again, notice who's the guy that's open, right? That tight end that I'm telling you about, getting the tight end open. Look at Preston Smith waiting and praying to God that it comes home, right? But these are things that you have to look at right here. Now, at this point, this is Jimmy Graham. I'm going to be clear about this. This is Jimmy Graham. But if this is Laporta, this is an easy pitch and catch. And I got to be honest, take that. Take it. They want you to keep it in front of them. Cool. Goff cannot do this and eat this sack. He can't. He just can't. All right? This cannot happen. And when we look at it, you're not asking for too many things to happen. You're asking for your running backs to be an integral part of the blocking so Goff can maintain his composure and deliver the ball. Why Derek Carr, why Derek Carr did not take this is beyond me. It's beyond me. Again, I'm not in that situation, so I get it. But these are things that we have to take advantage of. Let's look at some other things that jumped out to me. Okay, so again, remember I talked about the whole Kenny Clark type thing? I don't expect this to happen to Ragnar. I don't. But it's possible. Anything is possible. Kenny Clark is right here. And, like, look at this. This is bad. This is bad. This is one of the reasons why I was so hyped in our last game with Aleem McNeil, Benito, and those guys who was putting pressure. Where do you go in this situation when you got pressure up the middle like this? These are not the ideal situations you want to be in with this. And this is things that we have to be better at stopping, because this cannot happen. You cannot have these type of things happening in the game and then trying to figure out how to adjust. Again, you have to win the battle in the trenches on both sides, and I believe that the Lions can do it. All right, so let's look at the standings. The standings give you a lot of information that you may not want to see, right? Now, clearly, when you go to the wins and the loss column, you see 2-1 for both of those. I get it. Nothing different there. But this right here, points for. See, this is where you have Detroit and Green Bay. Points for, points against. Both their defenses are playing oddly the same. Sometimes they up, sometimes they down. Yeah, oddly the same. And clearly you say points for where they got 80 to the 72. Yeah, the Lions offenses has some conservative play calling. There's no getting around that. However, as we get over here a little bit better, right? Come over here just a little bit more. Where we at? All right. We start talking about right here. Non-conference wins versus conference wins and things like that. Detroit's got one non-conference win. They got one conference win, one conference loss. They got two conference win, one conference loss. And they still got to play a few teams. But when it comes to the division, this is the one that stands out. In the division, they got one win already. They beat the Bears. They already did that. The Packers did that. The Lions, this is their first division game, and it's on the road. And it's so important because this is the game that's going to really probably come down to tiebreakers when it comes time for playoff talks. If they end up with the same record, if the Lions don't sweep them. And by the way, I predict that the Lions will sweep the entire NFC North. Yeah, I said that. I said that if there was ever a chance for there to be a split, I said, it might be with Minnesota, but even that I don't even buy. I think we should sweep the whole division. That's just me. I look at this, I don't see anybody that's really impressive. Look at Minnesota, in terms of what they're doing stuff, we should do it. But nonetheless, this is what I want people to focus on. This game is so important that the Lions cannot find themselves in a position chasing ghosts. And when you go through and you look at the previous game that the Packers just played, they were down 17-0. But they couldn't get no more points. You couldn't get no more points out of the Saints once Derek Carr went down. And for the Detroit Lions, that should be your first indicator that 17 points to them is not a big deal. You're going to need to score and score often. You're going to need to put points up. You're going to need to force their hand and push them to do something different. If you don't do these things, you're going to have a long day. And as it stands right now, they're going to have a slight advantage because they're at home. They're at home. Okay? They're the ones who are at home. You have to come prepared. Don't want to hear about your cleats wasn't right. Don't want to hear it was cold. This is your chance because you beat them now in Green Bay where the weather's going to be a little bit more favorable on your side. And then you get them at, I believe it's on Thanksgiving Day, we get them at Thanksgiving to really wreak havoc. In our house, you can take advantage of this on so many levels. But it's going to start with those trench guys. Now, here's the other thing that I got. I got a secret weapon, people. I got a secret weapon. Stay with me, all right? Lions are going to have to play Jack Campbell more this game. Stay with me. I need to see less Emrod, more Jack Campbell. And I don't know who we look at. I'm going to look at Aaron Glenn. I'm going to look at freaking Dan Campbell. I need more Jack Campbell, especially for this game, for two reasons. They are going to try to use their running backs in a way to create mismatches against our linebacker. And Emrod in coverage is a liability. Jack Campbell, to me, is a better coverage linebacker than he is a run defender. However, if they run the ball, Jack Campbell has shown that he has no problem sticking his neck in there too. And if you still have him out there, whether it be with Alex or Derek Barnes, you can make some things happen. So for me, I need more of him. This is the secret weapon because they're going to come in with the attitude that we can create mismatches with our linebackers. All you have to do is make sure that you are coming into the game with the attitude that that's not going to be the matchup you get. Hat on hat, pound for pound, we're going to give you to you 100% raw. So here's my conclusion to the game. The Detroit Lions will and shall win this game. I am predicting that the Lions will win this game. In my opinion, because it's just me, y'all can hate me now, I think we win 31-21. I believe we win this game by 10 or more points. I just feel like with the way things are set up in terms of the receiver, even if Christian Watson come back, he's hurt. How much is you going to get out of him? He's hurt. If Aaron Jones come back, Aaron Jones is going to still be playing hurt. You still got to account for that because, in my opinion, we have not truly been tested with our run defense. You went against a Kansas City Chiefs team who is not a run-first team and never committed to the run in the first place. Even though they were having some success with the run, they didn't. Thank God for that, which is why I predict us to beat them. You went against the Seattle Seahawks team, who I thought was going to attempt to run the ball, but they just realized that, hey, why do I got to do that? Nobody's getting near my quarterback. I'm just going to keep throwing it. And that's what they did. But they never even really fully just said, hey, let's go run the ball. The Falcons just said after the run. They just full out abandoned it, and they just had to pass the game. If Aaron Jones plays, the Packers won't abandon the run. If Aaron Jones plays, the Packers are going to get Aaron Jones, Wilson, and freaking Dillon the ball. It's going to be reverses and everything. They're giving them the ball. And we have to be the same. We have to run the ball as well. We have to give Jahmyr Gibbs some real opportunities, some more draw plays. I need to see more screens. Anything that gets them lined up with the linebacker, I need that, right? And then on top of this, if Aaron Jones plays, let's say if he don't play, even if he don't play, I'm really moving my point total differential up because I feel like at that point the score should be even higher. We need to be scoring on this team. We need to take the crowd out of the game for this team. Okay? We can't get them no hope or any belief that they're going to win this division. You got a lot of things on your side that you got to show up for. So this is how I see it. 31-21, Detroit over Green Bay. I see no reason why we should lose this game. I see no reason why we should lose matchups. Now, if they don't execute, you're going to have a different guy come Friday. You're going to see a different Luke. But they have to execute. All right? So that's my analysis for the game. Sorry I couldn't go live. I hope this, hey, it's something better than nothing, I guess. I don't know. I just wanted to give y'all what my view was and how I seen this game, what I expect from this game. I can tell you what I expect from the Packers is they're going to try their best to run the ball. They are. They're not going to go pass first. Not with this team. Especially not after watching the Lions go on a 7-sack game against the Falcons, a team who they lost to. They're not going to do that. But they also put up, I believe, 24 points on them? So, yeah, I expect the Lions. If the Lions score 30, to be honest with you, if the Lions score 28 or more points, we'll win. It's not even close. We win. If they even hit 30, if they hit 31 points, it's over with. But 28 points or not, we win. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, and do not, and I say this again, do not forget this most important part of it all. Don't be no chump. Please do your research.